So we're pretty much done with the feature. We could think of one thing that might make it a little bit nicer. It might be nice if we defaulted to the first letter that has some companies underneath it. Now, we could set this link up so that it just goes to companies A, but rather than hard coding that, what we're going to end up doing here is I'm going to reuse this code. Okay. Again, we could always end up going in and taking that code and moving it somewhere else, but for the moment, I'm just going to copy and paste it. Again, we sort of want to get it working. We want to end up seeing our results, and I'm just going to console.log grouped right now on the nav bar. So we see we don't have anything. Eventually, we end up having some. And what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm just going to go over here, and I'm going to do let for letter. And I'll go over here, and for companies, I'm just going to put in, I'm now going to use my to. It's going to be dynamic. So I'm going to put this inside of an expression. And I'm going to say you're going to go to letter, which is not going to end up changing anything. This should still work out the same way. Let's just take a quick look here. So here, these are actually just links. So I'm just going to change the text here. And if I just did that, I should be back in the same position that I was. So I'm not really changing anything here. But what I want to do is I'm just going to ask the question once I get over here. I'll say if object.keys grouped.length is greater than 0. I'm going to take the first letter. Again, I might default to the one that has the most companies. I'll leave that as an exercise. But here I'm just going to say object.keys grouped, and I'm going to sort it. Those are going to be my letters. I'm going to take the first value, and that's going to end up being my letter. So again, this is loading asynchronously, so I have to be a little bit defensive about it. But now if I end up going back here, let's just take a quick look here. And I've got a colon instead of a semicolon. Now if I refresh this, so now if I click on here, I'm going to automatically end up going to company A. And again, I wouldn't hard code it because, let's say for the sake of argument that there wasn't anything in company A, I wouldn't have that letter here, and I would want to go to a different letter. But again, I would leave it as an exercise, as maybe you'd want to have this set up to go to the company, the letter that has the most companies. And that really wraps it up for this feature.